Alright, so moving on, and I'm going to do another practice on a dime of time session. This is the third one for today, and right now I'm going to spend some time on two different accompaniments by Jason Robert Brown. Fantastic composer. His songs are absolutely unbelievable, and his piano parts are so gratifying for the pianist too. So I really enjoy practicing these. The first one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of rhythm work. It's from Christmas Lullaby. And near the end of it, he has some like 2 against 3 stuff that's going on. I've performed this before, and quite frankly, I just kind of didn't address this issue because it makes it hard to do with the singer too. But this time I'm determined to get a step closer at getting it really right. But it's tricky. So I'm going to do some rhythm work. I always like to do different types of practicing within a day so that it keeps it interesting for me. Plus, rhythm work is so crucial and can make it so much easier to put the music together. All right, bear with me. It's hard if you don't know the music, but hopefully it'll give you some insight. So I'm going to conduct, or at least snap, the quarter note beats and make sure that I can vocalize the right hand rhythm, which is it'll be the 3 against the 2 in the left hand. So 2, 3, 4, bum, 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 bum. So I'm going to just loop it so that I keep going until it feels really comfortable. 3, 4, bum, 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 bum. I'm going to do on here. Bum. Great. Now, the next measure is not 2 against 3, and that throws me off too, is going back and forth between having the counter rhythm and then, well, I forget what they call those. It's not counter rhythm, but cross rhythm. And then the next measure is just straight. So let me isolate the easier measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 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 bum. So that's easy peasy. So the trick comes in when I'm combining them. So let me try to combine them here. So I'm going to do the one measure of the cross rhythm followed by the other rhythm that's easier. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, that's not so bad. Now, if I had had trouble with that, when I was doing it back to back, I would have inserted at least a few blank beats so I had time to think ahead to what I was going to do next. But in this case, I'm able to do it, so I'm not going to mess with it. Hopefully, sometime we'll get something tricky so you can see that technique. All right, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and try to play these measures. And I'm going to do it under tempo, at a tempo where my brain and my body are pretty chilling. 1, 2, 3, 4. So some self-feedback, not bad. It was pretty good, but I felt myself getting a little bit anxious. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try to pull back the tempo a little bit slower even, until I'm comfortable. Much better. I'm going to do it again. out good too. And I don't know if you could tell, but I was trying to be even more musical. Whenever I do start doing repetitions, I really try to infuse it with musicality and making musical decisions, so it keeps me in the game and not tuning out and relying on just sheer repetition. So now, since I've isolated that, I'm going to go a few measures before and make sure that I can get into that and maintain that sense of comfort with the rhythm. So I'm just going to go back 2 measures. Great. Okay, there's a little bit of a lick in here that precedes the section I just did. That's a little tricky, so I'm going to make sure I can do it. It's in the right hand mostly, so I'm going to isolate just the right hand right now. Right, so that's it. It's that scale going up. And then a few measures later, a similar thing, but it's an F major scale this time. Yeah, F major. So it feels different. That wasn't correct. To the other one. And I'm asking myself, what's the difference in sound? How do those similar scales make me feel differently? So it helps me to make some musical decisions. Pretty straightforward. Very free. The second one, to me it has a little more tension. So we'll see. Okay, I'm going to put it all together. Something caught me off guard, and I realized I can solve it with a simple fingering change here. Okay, I got thrown off by a rhythm in my left hand. So I like to just loop a rhythm like that that's giving me trouble, kind of to get into the groove of it, so I don't have to think about it much. I just get in the groove and let it flow, and then add in the right hand. Yeah. It's better. It's not perfect yet, but I'm going to move on for now. And I think I will mark this as something I want to practice again tomorrow. I do like to try to review what I did the previous day to make sure I'm reinforcing the good work I did. All right, the next piece is Still Hurting, also by Chase and Robert Brown. And I'm going to focus on this one interlude that's really beautiful. I'm excited about it, but it's kind of tricky. It's 9 measures long, so I'm going to work backwards on it. I'm going to start with this last little bit in the right hand and come up with a fingering for it. Make sure I mark in fingerings. Not bad. I'm going to back up. So that's pretty basic. But it's really long, and it's all like C major for the longest time. So I'll have to make sure I do something really cool musically. I think in context I might be able to come up with something. For now, I think I'm going to diminuendo at the beginning of it. All right, I'm going to back up. It kind of gets kind of Baroque in here or something with these written out mordents. And actually, a lot of times the way that they notate things on the page don't help. So in this case, he has all these written out mordents, but the way it's written out, it doesn't line up. So with the left hand, and visually I find that very confusing. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I know which notes in the right hand, the downbeats, fall with which hands in the left hand, because they're not lined up. So I'm going to do this slowly, both hands, making sure I'm making sense of it. Yeah, so now that I've made sense of it, it makes much more sense. What I love about working backwards is then when you're learning a new chunk, after you've learned that new chunk and you connect it with one you've already learned, when you get to that one you've already learned, you're really reinforcing and checking to make sure that what you did is sinking in, and you get more and more comfortable. I love that. It's a natural way to build in repetitions, but without thinking, oh, I have to repeat it 100 times. It just happens. Okay, I'm going to back up one more measure. find the notation really weird. More fingering. And I also like doing it this way because, like, on that last chunk, I'm already memorizing it. So that's awesome. I don't even have to think about it. I don't have to say, oh, I'm memorizing it now. That fingering will work. I'm doing a lot of fingering work right now, which is why I'm sort of quiet. So when I put the hands together right here, it's not working very well. I don't know if it's a fingering. concentration is waning. I'm going to do that again, pull back the tempo. Okay, last measure of this passage. Easy peasy. And I notice this is probably the last round with this passage, and I notice how contrapuntal it is. So I'm going to start really thinking about that and figuring out which voices I want to bring out. What a great piece. I'm going to do it one more time, but back up into it a little bit.